Today we're going into some of the tough conversations that condominium and HOA board members have with their residents. I'm going to walk you through 3 real scenarios I've encountered. They're going to be real brief. I'm not going to get into any depth, but we'll just talk about these are things that have happened, and my hope is that you'll at least be able to recognize some of what happens in your community and be able to take the theme of what we're talking about and apply it to your own community. So the first scenario, let's take an angry resident calls. They call the management company. They ask to attend a board meeting. They're talking to your board. My neighbor's dealing drugs. I see people going in and out of their house all the time. You need to evict them immediately. Do something is what they say. Do something. So board members, take a deep breath. Yes, it's serious. It's crucial to understand what the association can and can't do. So your objective is, don't put yourselves or your association or your board of directors or your management company as the middleman between the residents, I'm talking both residents, and that issue. That sounds to me like a criminal issue. Criminal issues are not something that the HOA or the community should address. There's certainly going to be some provisions in your governing documents that says you can't do criminal activity. Remember, this isn't criminal activity until it is addressed by law enforcement. So you can't look at that and make a judgment, or you shouldn't look at this and make a judgment on this is criminal activity, I'm going to do this. You can't deal drugs in our community, I'm going to do something about it. There's every tendency to do that as a condominium board member. If you're on the board, you're an advocate for your community, someone's coming to you with an issue, your immediate assumption is, let me jump in and fix this. But what you don't know is if it's a legitimate issue or if there's just people coming in and out of the house. What you don't know is if this is an issue that has been manufactured by somebody to try and get a resident that they don't otherwise like out of the community, out of the adjacent unit, out of the upstairs unit. You understand? So put this back on the resident, and my recommendation is that you tell them that we are addressing HOA rule violation issues. We are not going to get involved on anybody's behalf in criminal matters, and this is clearly a criminal matter potentially and should be reported to the police department. Well, I've reported it to the police over and over again. They won't do anything. There you go. Still stay with that position because you're going to get that pushback from a resident. I've reported it. I've got 20 police reports. I've seen this. I've seen someone bring in a stack of police reports, all of them redacted. Do something about it. What more do you want me to do? What more do I have to do? Call the police again. Call them for the 30th time. Don't come to me with 30 police reports and do that. Now, it sounds harsh, but you have to remember, if you put yourself through your words or misguided effort to play peacemaker into the middle of that situation, you will never get out of it. You may as well go get yourselves a lawyer because you're going to need one right away. So there we go. We'll go on to the next issue now. Second issue, Mrs. Johnson comes in. She's been a 20-year resident of the community, been there a long time. Everybody knows her. She's fallen behind on her assessments. She comes into your board and says, I need some grace. I need a payment plan. I want to get a payment plan that spreads the past due amounts over X number of months. And then your position is, well, you need to keep current with the new assessments, and then you have to add that in, and you have to ask Mrs. Jones or Johnson, whatever, tell us your financial position. What is it, the amount of money that you're bringing in? And then you have to look at that, and you have to make a judgment on whether that's going to be a viable plan. Are you just pushing the inevitable default into the future? You only want to set people up for payment plans if they're actually going to be able to abide by those payment plans. Just pushing it into the future, you feel great. That night, Mrs. Johnson walks away. She's uneasy, and you better believe she's coming back to you a second time. When she defaults that second time, she's going to come back to you and ask for more grace. So it's not like you're doing anything that's good for her. If she can afford it, great. Payment plan, yes. If she can't afford it based on her financial documentation that she presents, then your answer as a fiduciary of your community should be what any banker would say if you were going in to buy a house. If you can't afford it, you can't afford it. The answer is no. If the person comes in and it appears they can afford it, the answer is yes. That's how it works. So emotions set aside. Forget that you know Miss Johnson. Forget that she's been there 20 years. Forget that she is on fixed income. You just need to look at this from a fiduciary standpoint. You are operating not only in Miss Johnson's best interest to the best of your ability, but you're trying to operate in the other residents' best interest as well. And you're putting an unfair burden on them if you put Miss Johnson's payment plan into place and she can't afford it. Another common scenario that a board is going to face a difficult decision in is where a resident has placed a service request that they think is important and it just doesn't fit the association's priorities. Your board of directors is tasked with figuring out where it wants to allocate money. Siding, roofs, windows, whatever. If you have a person who says, I just don't agree with that. I've placed a window replacement request if windows are in your master deed responsibility area. I've placed a window maintenance request. My windows are drafty. My heating bills are high. And I want them replaced. I placed a window replacement request 3 years ago and it still haven't been replaced. What am I paying dues for? And then you look around your community and everybody's got the same doggone windows. Are you going to replace her windows because she's the squeaky wheel? Or are you going to look at that and say, we understand, but it's up to you. That's where your board has to make those tough decisions. So you have to decide if you're going to make an exception for her, and then everybody else is going to be getting the message that all you need to do is be a squeaky wheel, and then everybody's going to be a squeaky wheel soon enough. People are going to say, she got her windows replaced, why can't I get my windows replaced? And then everybody's going to be looking for window replacement. So be aware of those special requests where somebody wants to get their building painted because they see peeling paint. Everybody else in the community has peeling paint too. You have to say, are we going to address this on a community-wide basis, or are we going to be addressing this on a squeaky wheel basis? There you go. So that's a decision that your board should be prepared for if it hasn't addressed that already. So the commonality between all three of these issues is you need to be calm and professional, even when the resident may not be. You're going to be getting people hurling insults at you. It's going to get personal, and they may throw legal threats around. You have to be ready for that. Be calm. Understand your documents. Stick to the facts. Show empathy, but maintain boundaries. Offer solutions that are within your authority, but don't go beyond your authority. And document everything in writing after the conversation occurs. If you found this perspective valuable, I invite you to connect with us. For our Instagram viewers, hit follow and feel free to DM us with your questions or community challenges. YouTube viewers, subscribe to our channel and check out the video description for links to our website where you'll find our published works on community management, board excellence, and our unique management philosophy. Whether you're dealing with the challenges we discussed today or other community issues, we're here to help. Visit our website to discover our thought leadership content, books, and resources that can transform your community management approach. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.